Hey there! If you're watching this, chances are your travel insurance claim for a post-surgery complication just got denied. I know how stressful that is, but I want you to know you've come to the right place. We're going to dive in and figure out how to turn that no into a yes.
Yeah, this probably feels familiar. You're in a hospital, far from home, it's late, everything's confusing, and the one safety net you thought you had, your insurance, just sent you that denial. It is an absolute gut punch.
Okay, first things first. Just take a deep breath. I need you to hear this loud and clear. This is fixable. It really is. There's a clear path forward, and we're going to walk through every single step together.
So let's start with the big question. Why did they deny you? Well, it almost always comes down to one single word that reviewers are trained to look for, and that word is what's causing all the trouble.
And look, the first thing you need to see here is that you are not alone in this. Not by a long shot. A whopping 35% of all denials fall under excluded procedure. That's the box they've put you in. It's the number one reason claims get rejected, and it's exactly what we're going to dismantle. So here it is. This is the culprit. The cosmetic exclusion clause. It's buried in pretty much every policy out there. And its job is simple, to deny anything that seems elective. Not a real medical emergency. The problem is, they've wrongly lumped your emergency complication in with your elective procedure. But you know what? That's actually their mistake. And that mistake is the key to our whole strategy. See, this isn't about arguing with them, it's about completely reframing what you're asking for. This slide shows you the whole game. On the left, that's the wrong path. The moment you say, my claim is for my hair transplant, bam, you've triggered the cosmetic exclusion. It's an instant denial. But the path on the right, that's the one that leads to approval. You say, my claim is for an emergency post-op infection. That doesn't trigger the exclusion. Instead, it triggers the sudden and unforeseen benefit, which is the entire point of travel insurance in the first place. This sentence right here, this is your new mantra. Seriously. Write it down, memorize it, and put this exact phrase at the very top of every single piece of paper, every email you send them. It draws a crystal clear line in the sand between the surgery, which, fine, isn't covered, and the emergency, which absolutely should be. Okay, so you've got the mantra. How do you prove it? Well, you're going to build what we call a proof pack. It's a simple, undeniable package of evidence that makes it easy for the claims reviewer to understand what happened. Your proof pack is just 5 simple things. First, a timeline. Procedure date, when symptoms started, when you went to the ER. Simple. Second, a quick letter from the doctor who treated you, just confirming the diagnosis and that it was a real emergency. Third, the itemized bill and the clinical notes from the hospital. Fourth, and this is a great move, you include the pages from their own policy that defined what a medical emergency is. And last, number 5, proof you paid the bill. You bundle this all up, and you've made it incredibly easy for them to just say yes.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this works. For all of you in the United States, your appeals process runs on very, very strict clocks. You have to pay attention to the deadlines. The moment you got that denial letter, a clock started ticking. You have exactly 180 days to file what's called an internal appeal with the insurance company. Put that date in your calendar right now. Do not miss it. Now, let's say they're stubborn and they deny you again after that first appeal. Well, a second clock starts. From the date of that final denial, you have 4 months to escalate your case and request an external review by an independent organization. So here's how it all flows together. You get the denial, that starts clock number 1. You send in your proof pack as your internal appeal inside that 180-day window. If they still say no, that starts clock number 2. You then have 4 months to demand that external review. And once you do, they usually have to give you a final decision within 45 days or even as fast as 72 hours if your situation is urgent. Okay, this is a really important question, a real fork in the road. What happens if you look at your denial letter and the words external review are nowhere to be found? Does that mean you're out of options? No way. It all comes down to how your policy was originally filed with the state. Most are filed as accident and health, and those almost always have the external review option, but some are filed under a weird old category called inland marine. If that's what you have, your next step after an internal denial isn't an external review, it's filing a formal complaint with your state's Department of Insurance. The easiest way to tell? Just search your denial letter for external review or IRO. If it's not there, you're likely headed to the Department of Insurance.
All right, now for our viewers in the UK, your system is a little different, but don't worry, it's just as structured and has its own key deadlines to watch.
So for you, it starts with a formal complaint sent directly to the insurance company. By law, they have up to 8 weeks to give you their final response. Once you have that in hand, a new 6-month clock starts ticking. That's your window to take the whole case to the Financial Ombudsman Service, or FOS, for final decision. And here's a little pro tip for my UK folks. In your complaint, you're going to want to mention the word ICOBs. It's a bit of insider jargon, but it's powerful. These are the official regulatory rules that say an insurer's communication has to be clear, fair, and not misleading. Citing this shows them you know your rights and you're serious. Okay, we've covered a lot: the core strategy, the evidence you need, and the specific timelines for both the US and the UK. Let's pull this all together into a simple, immediate action plan you can start on right now. Here it is, your whole plan on one screen. Your strategy: lead with the emergency, never the surgery. Your mantra: use that exact one-liner we talked about. Your tools: assemble that 5-part proof pack. And the very next thing you should do, get those deadlines into your calendar. Don't wait. Honestly, you can make huge progress on this in the next 10 minutes. I'm serious. Open a document, copy and paste that mantra right at the top. Find your key deadlines in the denial letter and put them in bold. Then just gather up those 5 documents, merge them into one PDF, and hit send. You've got this. So let me leave you with this one last thought. What is the single most important thing a busy, overworked claims reviewer needs from you to approve your appeal? It's not a sob story. It's not an angry letter. It's just clarity. Your job is to make their job easy. Give them a clear, logical, evidence-based reason to check the approved box. Keep the original surgery out of it, put the emergency front and center, and make saying yes the easiest decision they have to make all day.